State of Tennessee versus Billy Ray Turner, docket number 1705881, count 1, first-degree murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. Count 2, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged in count 2 of the indictment. Count 3, criminal attempt first-degree murder. The verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of criminal attempt first-degree murder as charged in count 3 of the indictment. And this verdict and jacket is signed by the foreperson of the jury, by the foreman, rather, of the jury.
It's time now for today's Talkback segment. Each day we post a question on Court TV's social media pages. We gather your comments and questions and respond right here on the show. Today we want to focus on the verdict in the trial of Billy Ray Turner. We asked you if you think the jury got it right, that Billy Ray Turner was the trigger man. Still with me, former trial and appellate lawyer, Dr. Tracy A. Pearson. All right, doctor, our first comment comes from Michelle Summers. She says, I thought for sure there was enough to convict for conspiracy, but not first-degree murder. But in my opinion, jurors get to see all the evidence and pictures up close. I have to say, Dr. Pearson, that was exactly where I fell. I thought initially they didn't even have enough for a conviction. Then I thought, okay, they have enough for the conspiracy, certainly was involved, but really not enough evidence to suggest he was the trigger man. But it looks like they bought the Jimmy Martin's testimony hook, line, and sinker and convicted him of all the charges.
Indeed, and jurors are in the best position to decide how they wish to weigh that evidence and how they wish to assess credibility. And ultimately, they're the final arbiter.
Yeah, and that's, I think, exactly what happened here. I wasn't buying Jimmy Martin, but I guess the jury certainly did. Our next comment comes from Valerie Wilson. She says, I'm shocked, speechless. The state dropped the ball on this one. Their inmate star witness killed him, in my opinion. He didn't help the prosecutor, never put the gun in the defendant's hand, and a lot of reasonable doubt, for sure. That's interesting because that's exactly where Valerie is, doctor. That's where I fall. But in closing, I will say, in their closing argument, the state made the point that they were able to corroborate with other witnesses and evidence a lot of what he said. Even though there were inconsistencies, they were able to corroborate it. And I thought that was very effective because when I looked at it back from that perspective, put his testimony in a little different light.
You never have a perfect witness. You have the witnesses that you have. And so you have to learn how to work with them. And in this situation, they were able to pull some things together to establish the basic elements. And that's really all they have to do. Certainly his testimony is challengeable, but I think that this is a case where it was very difficult to have sympathy for anyone other than the decedent and his mom.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Our next comment comes from Harold Singletary. He says, a stellar judge, an astute jury, and a precise prosecution team equals the just verdict and justice. Can't disagree with what he's saying. I just want to get just generally your thoughts on the trial. Do you think it was the right verdict?
I think that it was the right verdict in the sense that the jurors took it seriously. You know, I know it only took 2.5 hours, but frankly, it was a straightforward case. And it's been pending for such a long time. You know, I'm always of mixed feelings about these things because I was a criminal defense lawyer most of my career. I've never been a criminal prosecutor. So I actually lean toward the defense. And here I didn't.
Yeah, and I think this community wanted to bring it to an end, and they brought it to an end. All right, Dr. Pearson, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Always appreciate it. Michael Ayala, it's been a pleasure being with you. Coming up next, closing arguments with Vinnie Politan. So keep it right here on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.